Welcome to episode number 83 of the Beyond Social Media Show. We are recording this broadcast live on Google Hangouts on Air. The date is February 14, 2014. Happy Valentine's Day. This is a podcast for marketing, advertising, public relations, and communications professionals. I am your co-host, David Erickson. You can find me on Twitter at @DErickson. I'm the VP of Online Marketing at Karwowski & Courage. I am with my co-host, BL Ochman. You can find at What's Next on Twitter. She is the CEO of Maximum-Plus.com, where you can hire her for all things Google+. She writes for Ad Age. You can find us, the show, on BeyondSocialMediaShow.com. We're on Twitter at BS Media Show. Subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss any shows. BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/newsletter. We've got exclusive content there. Our format every week is we talk about what the worst things in online communications were for the week. We talk about the best things that happened during the past week. We talk about some shiny new stuff that we found. We wrap it up with some daily statistics that you'll want to know for marketing. BL, you always have the honors. What was the worst thing that happened in the past week?
Well, a lot of things happened this week that were kind of funky, but this takes the cake. This woman whose name is Celia happened to tweet, "Ooh, I start a expletive job tomorrow," and her soon-to-be boss replied, "And no, you don't start the FA job tomorrow. I just fired you. Good luck with your no money, no job life." This is we file this under how not to use social media.
Wow. Yeah.
What was she thinking? Okay, so now this comes under the category of you can't make. I don't know. I don't know where to put this, but Google announced this week that they're closing down Helpouts on April 20th, and Helpouts were a great idea, badly executed by Google, and Google was taking 20% of the earnings of those of us who were doing Helpouts, but yet they weren't providing any sort of marketing assistance, and they went actually as far as lame as sending us a flyer that we could download to put around town inviting people to take our Helpouts. Well, my town's New York City, and you don't put flyers around town with your phone number on them, believe me, unless you're a moving company or you're up to you lost your dog, you know? That's when you put a flyer up. You certainly don't want people finding you online on a lamppost. And that was pretty much the extent of their marketing assistance. And what quickly happened to this platform was it devolved into a version of Fiverr where people were seeing how much cheaper they could do this than you can. And I have 25 years of experience. I don't really need to give my time away or want to, and you can't compete with free. So what happened was a lot of the professionals on the platform just said, screw this, I'm not going to give my time away. And it became very useful for people who were starting out, I guess, teaching yoga and cooking and things like that. But Google just kind of gave it away. And then they went, well, it didn't work out as well as we thought it would. Sorry. That's so lame.
Yeah, and it's pretty much Hangouts on Air in a different package. And so if you really wanted to use it that way as a professional business development tool or whatever, or delivering services to clients, you could do it through Google Hangouts on Air if you wanted to. I mean,
without giving them 20% of the money, yeah, that's for sure. You know, good morning, Scowcroft. Nice to see you here. Comment tracker's working today, more or less. We'll see for how long. Happy birthday, Richard Wright. Glad to see you here. That's it for my bad news.
Yeah, I got two things. So first of all is Jon Stewart announcing he's leaving the Daily Show.
Sad.
Very sad. He's brilliant, helped launch the careers of a bunch of people: Steve Carroll, Lewis Black, Rod Corddry, Samantha Bee, John Oliver, and Stephen Colbert, of course, the most famous of the two, and who have sort of taken his satire parody of the news type of format, twisted it and made it successful for themselves as well. And so a lot of people are talking about the Jon Stewart's legacy. He hasn't left yet. He's not going to leave for a while, so he's still on. He's still going to be on the air, but he is leaving sometime this year. I think his legacy is teaching media literacy. I think sort of satire and parody reverse engineers the news and exposes the conventions that news broadcasters, that the media industry uses, and therefore it sort of lays it bare and exposes it so you recognize it when you're watching straight news, right? So I think that's the lasting legacy of Jon Stewart, is exposing teaching millennials basically media literacy.
That's a very interesting point of view. My favorite tweet about it was someone who tweeted, "Dear Jon Stewart, we regret to inform you that your resignation is not accepted. Love, everybody." That got retweeted something like 20,000 times. This is a good one from Scott. Says, "Google Helpouts could have been a contenda." Yeah, that's for sure.
Much like a lot of things you can say about Google's projects.
Well, you know, I will tell you, this week I hosted a Google agency partner event, and for those, they go all out. They sent, you know, these Google notebooks that are, what are the fancy kind of notebooks that Hemingway used? I always forget the name of them.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they sent me, you know, like enough of those to give to everybody who came. They sent a gift card to go to Starbucks. They sent Google swag, and they are we having issues? What kind of issues? We're not having issues, Richard. They, you know, that they backed, because that will directly benefit them if our clients use AdWords. But some things they do and some things they don't, and it's inexplicable. It really is. I will say that they've been vastly improving Hangouts and adding features and making them better all the time. So behind the scenes, they are supporting this platform that we're using right now. But you know, there's no rhyme or reason to what they do.
Yeah. So I got another on the negative one. I listened to Taylor Swift music for the first time in my life this week. I've sort of been ignoring her. Country music is not exactly my cup of tea, but I like it. Her music, though, is like a mixture of pop and country, and it's too much sugar too much of the sugar that makes pop good, and not enough sorrow that makes country western good. So it's just not quite there for me. But I did listen to it. She's talented, clearly, and I paid attention because everybody's fawning over her about her wonderful use of social media and everything. She's clearly talented at that, but she's also going after her fans. So this is in the worst section. Taylor Swift is threatening an ex-guitar teacher with legal action. Swift's story on it is that in a 2009 promotional DVD, she says that a computer technician visited her home, spotted the guitar, and offered to teach her some chords. That's her version of the story. In January, the computer repairman went public. His name's Ronnie Kramer. He gave an interview for the New York Daily News, identifying himself as that person. Kramer's story is the lessons came well before he ever set eyes on her computer. He recorded a demo at his studio for Taylor. Her family then asked for him to give her guitar lessons, and he says he gave Swift guitar lessons for about 2 years. Kramer bought the domain iTaughtTaylorSwift.com and then received a demand from Swift's legal team telling him to quit using her name. The email said it incorporates the famous Taylor Swift trademark in its entirety and suggests Taylor Swift sponsorship of endorsement of your website. The domain name and use of the domain name are also highly likely to dilute, tarnish your famous Taylor Swift trademark. That's sort of boilerplate legal language that people use in cease and desist letters. So Kramer says he's not going to relinquish the domain name. The site redirects to the New York Daily News story about him. He's getting an avalanche of criticism from Swift fans on Twitter. But this is not the first thing for Taylor Swift. She has also sent cease and desist letters to Etsy fans who are creating Taylor Swift-themed products on Etsy. The fans are upset because they feel like that's part of they're part of her story and they're telling her story. And you know, I think when you start, you know, threatening legal action against your fans, it goes against what you're trying to accomplish as an artist generally, but Taylor Swift's brand is treating her fans royally, and she's not in this case. So it's kind of messed up.
Let me give you some background on that. When I was at Burson, I met her legal team and her VC team that backs her, and she has her own store with her own merchandise that makes gazillions of dollars every year, and she also has a platform that lets her fans make websites and tailor things, and so it's a really multi-million-dollar business, and they are not going to let anybody else have a piece of it, whether they're right or wrong. In this case, apparently wrong. But what does she gain from that? That's kind of dumb. Just a comment from Andrew Hatchett, who says Google's great at ideas, but marketing, yeah, I'd go with that. They have no clue in the marketing area. They do need to hire us. We're here. By the way, happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. So just touching on, let me follow up on the bad to the good with Taylor Swift quickly. She is an amazing marketer. I did start paying attention to her because I had to. She's generous at retweeting. Take a look at her Twitter stream, and she's just retweeting everybody, fans included. She targets individual fans for special treatment. She leaves hand-wrapped gifts for fans when she visits a town that one of her fans was in. She helped one fan pay off her student loans. She invited another fan for VIP access to backstage for an award show and took a photo of her. So she does know how to do that, and that's really sort of if you're an artist, that's really a playbook you should follow. So.
Well, I'm on to good news. I don't know. Are we ready?
Yeah, we are. I just did the first one for good news.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been working on a blog post, which I'll publish later today, about the brand tie-ins with 50 Shades of Grey, which by all reports is the worst movie in the history of the world. And it really is funny to see who's doing what. And Etta Stark in a blog called Mostly Film, she said, this year's most eagerly awaited film based on rehashed porny Twilight fan fiction is out today. Whether or not you love it, hate it, pretend to hate it, but secretly love it, wank over it, but still sort of hate it, or have a complicated and mutually self-destructive relationship with it, but only because your mother was a crack whore, the makers of 50 Shades of Grey, the motion picture, almost certainly don't care, just as long as you hand over your money. So there's a 50 Shades of Grey craft beer from Innis and Gunn that incorporates 50 different hops and ingredients that are supposedly aphrodisiac, and it's selling for $56 a bottle. Target, where you go to buy your kids' clothes, 50 Shades of Grey, yours and mine's adult vibrating love ring, $13. The British hardware store B&Q sent a memo to their staff. Store managers are requested to monitor stock levels of rope, cable ties, masking tape, and duct tape to ensure that supplies do not run low this weekend. Audi has an online spot that spoofs the elevator scene. Audi is featured heavily in the movie. This one doesn't make very much sense, but there's a SpongeBob movie, and so they had a tweet 50 Shades of Yellow, and it's the back of SpongeBob in a chair, and it says, "Mr. Squarepants, we'll see you now." And then there's the 50 Shades of Grey, which is a book promotion, and it describes the book as erotica for the not-too-modern male. Shed's book is now out, and they have really hilarious tweets. They have, "Hurt me," she begged, leaning over the dining table expectantly. "Okay," I replied, "your turkey's too dry and your sprouts are overcooked." And they have a whole Twitter stream with legs like that. With lines like that. There's Design Milk, which is a design site. They have 50 shades, and then it says, okay, 10 of great things for your home. Dorax, of course, the condom company. Trojan has a parody trailer that's quite hilarious. It's gone viral. Direct Marketing News had to get in on it, so they had 50 Shades of Grey areas in marketing. One of the real head-scratchers is a video called 50 Shades of Buscemi, and trust me, you don't want to see him naked. Jimmy Fallon had the star of the Jamie Dornan on, and they did 50 Shades of Accents, and they took lines from the movie and they had to say them in different accents. It was quite hilarious. And then I'll stop now, but this one, a hotel package at the Curtis Hotel in Denver, where recreational pot is legal, so it would only make sense there, is they have what they call a totally dope package that goes by the name 50 Shades of Green, which apparently costs $420. That means something to cannabis enthusiasts. And it has in-room munchies like brownies, and they have actually cannabis. But the problem is it's a non-smoking hotel. Oh, and just one more. Waterpik tweets, our playroom is in the shower, and they have a picture of their shower head. I can't stop. I have more, but I'll stop.
So yeah, I'll have to wait for the movie to pass, and you know,
I'm not going to see
you won't
the
be
movie.
seeing. I didn't read the book. I'll just have to pay attention to the marketing, I guess.
Oh, I read the book. I read all 3 of the books. They're horrible.
Three of them. Oh my God.
I remember when I was reading the first one, and I said to my friend, "Are you reading it?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm not going to read the other one." She went, "Yeah, you will." Of course, I will. So, anyway,
one last good one for me. You got to see this if you haven't seen it already. President Obama teamed with BuzzFeed to promote Healthcare.gov signups in a PSA video, and it shows the president. It's things that people do but don't talk about, and shows the president pretending to shoot the game-winning goal in the basketball basket in the basketball game. It shows him holding up a stick and doing selfies of himself. So it's very funny. It has to date to today 30.4 million views, so very successful as well. Well, check it out.
that's great. I mean, really, the White House, there was a big article about how they use social media. They've done a phenomenal job. Speaking of Google, I do have a good one. They're testing Hangouts as a virtual genius bar with which they'll sell Google devices, and so it's live now in Pacific time between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., and you can ask about Google devices, and they want to extend it to more places, virtual and physical. They're planning to go into retail stores. TechCrunch reported this, and it's kind of a virtual help desk to help you with the shopping experience. And the bigger project is kind of like Google's virtual genius bar, which is such a smart way to use this platform. And of all companies that should be doing that, Google. Just one little comment here from Scott, who says if they like, Google has until April 20th to hire BL and David for its marketing. Just saying. Thank you.
We're already doing the work for them.
Honestly, I mean, it's just incredible. And I have one more good one, and that is, and I have already asked him to marry me, but he hasn't responded. The Boston Yeti, who is this guy who dresses up as a Yeti and goes around and shovels people's cars out in Boston, which is totally besieged with like 12 feet of snow. And he said on Twitter that he has a Twitter account, Boston Yeti 2015. He said, "I'm here because I love the city of Boston and we need some light amidst this tough weather." I love that.
Great.
So, Facebook is offering a profile for when you die, a profile will for when you die. What do you want done? Who should have access? It is very upsetting after someone dies to see their birthday announced on Facebook, I must say. Google's done this for a long time. Well hidden in your security settings is an opportunity to basically do the same thing. And the way they do it is that if you're not online for a certain amount of time, they notify you, I think, by text, and I guess after a certain amount of time, they decide you're dead, and they notify your next, the person you assigned, and but you have an opportunity to say no, I'm alive. But it's a really major issue for so many people. So really, a very good idea.
Yeah, and I expect it's going to be an emerging industry. I mean, it can't help but be it. You've got your online profile is part of your personality now, your online presence, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. What do you do with it after you die, and how do you want to be portrayed after you die as an individual, not leaving it haphazardly up to others to figure it out. So
Google also they give you the option of allowing people your passwords to your Google accounts, which certainly makes a lot of sense, because that would let them into your email, which would pretty much let them into everything. So, that's a really good idea. And they had a 2-minute security check thing this week, because for some reason, I don't know what it was. But does that bring us to shiny stuff?
Yeah, let's talk about shiny stuff. I got 2 quick ones. WordMark.it is, and this is from Robin Flack, who pointed this out. She's a very talented web developer here in the Twin Cities. WordMark.it lets you view the same word or phrase displayed with every font on your system all at once. So rather than scrolling through a bunch of stuff, you get at a glance, you can see how the phrase you want to use is displayed in different fonts that you've got installed in your system. Very helpful. The other one is Twitter Curator. So this was just released by Twitter, and it is a Storify competitor for media organizations only. So it's invite only right now. It's a web app that allows media organizations to pull together embedded collections of tweets and vines. You can view worldwide trends. You can narrow it down to specific geographic locations and see what people are talking about locally. You can weed out retweets and foul language. And you can set up your own custom stream of tweets. So after you've done that, you can curate your collection and then create an embeddable widget that you can include on your site. It also has a feature for broadcasters who can create on-air graphics with Twitter responses to the show. You get analytics for your own collection. So this is Twitter's attempt to extend their reach beyond their own platform to acquire new users. But pretty cool. I wouldn't be surprised if it eventually rolls out to everyone.
Do you have an invite?
I don't. You go to, the URL is curator.twitter.com, and if you go there and you're not invited, all you see is the Twitter bird. So, yep.
Oh, we got to go trolling for invites. So I found one called Monosnap, which is a great app for screenshots because you can annotate them, and it lets you blur sensitive areas, and then you can share those screenshots, and you can really dress them up. You can put circles and arrows and all sorts of wonderful things on them, and you used to have to combine a couple of programs to do that, and this does it all in one, and it's free. The other thing that I came upon this week is called Latergram, and you can't schedule Instagrams via Instagram, but you can upload and schedule your photos on Latergram to turn up later on Instagram. So that's a really useful one, and that's latergram.me. And then there's Mobile Roadie, which is not free, but it's a mobile app that it's a platform that lets you create, customize, and manage mobile apps on the fly. You can build them and you can update them, but what you can also do, which is really helpful, is manage all the mobile apps you have from not from your computer, with mobile devices, so that if you're traveling, you have the ability to update your apps to do whatever you need to do with mobile apps. It's a very helpful kind of a thing.
Very cool. Very cool.
I want Twitter Curator. That I can think of so many ways to deal with that.
Yep, I absolutely agree with you. I have tried Storify. It's pretty cool, but it's got some problems with it that I've stopped using it because of that. So having Twitter's own tool would be great. Send me an invite, Twitter.
I want one too.
So should we wrap this up?
Yes, we should. You got a project to tell us about, right?
Oh yeah. So I was quoted an article for on Entrepreneur about 5 ways of making the most out of SlideShare for marketing. And so we'll include a link to the show notes. It has some good advice from other marketers as well, including someone from HubSpot. So we'll include a link there.
My famous friend. That's cool.
All right.
We are tell them about iTunes and.
Yep, we are on iTunes. If you want to follow us on iTunes for the audio version, you can go to BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/iTunes. We're also on Twitter, so BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/ did I say Twitter?
Yes, you did.
I meant Stitcher. BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/Stitcher. So if you use Stitcher to follow podcasts, you can find us there. If you do, please leave us a review. We'd love to hear your feedback, positive, negative, whatever. We want to improve the show. So let us know. Leave some feedback and subscribe to our newsletter, BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/newsletter. Let's wrap this up with the daily numbers. And I've got today ways in which people share the videos that they create. So their own created videos, what do they do with them? 75% share them on Facebook, not surprisingly. 51% share them via email, so they will email the file to somebody that they know. 49% upload them to YouTube. 34% use text messages to share them, so I've done that as well, just message somebody with a video. 27.7% burn them to DVDs. 23% share them on Google+, and 19% share them on Twitter. I expect once Twitter rolls out their video uploading native ability, that thing's going to go up too. But this just goes with the trend of video consumption increasing, people creating their own videos more and more as it's easier to do with smartphones and everything, and then sharing them online. So some interesting stuff.
I hope those people have very robust data plans on their phones if they're going to send videos, because that's a good way to use them up.
Yep, use your Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, well, that's what I tell everybody. Like, anytime you can, you just be on Wi-Fi. I never use all my data. So we are going to timestamp this video and have a playlist with the timestamped video that'll have links to everything that we talked about today, and you will find all of that at BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/83. And we would really like to get a review from you on our iTunes and Stitcher platforms. That would really help us. We would really appreciate that. And you will find David Erickson. He's at @DErickson on Twitter, eStrategyBlog.com, CreativePR.com/blog. You can find me. I'm at What's Next on Twitter. I blog at whatsnextblog.com, and also pawfun.com, where, if you haven't done it yet, you can make yourself a free Valentine card using your pet's picture. And I'm at maximum-plus.com, where you can learn about all things Google+. On Twitter, we're BS Media Show, and you can subscribe to our newsletter at BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/newsletter, and we will include exclusive content that we don't get to on the show, and you won't have to miss an episode. You can catch it on the newsletter. So we'll be back next week, and we wish you all a wonderful week in the meantime.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.